Monday morning. She's 16 years old. She just won the United States National Figure Skating Championship, the biggest title a young skater can hold in this country. She's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The headline calls her America's most exciting girl skater. The phone is ringing off the hook. Her face is everywhere. Wednesday morning, she's dead. Not retired, not injured, not in a hospital fighting for her life. Dead. 2 days after the cover. That's not a hypothetical I made up to get your attention. That really happened to a real 16-year-old girl with a real family and a real future. And it's not even the most heartbreaking story I'm going to tell you today. Because in this sport that looks like grace and silk and perfection, tragedy has hit harder and more often than almost any other sport in history. 10 skaters, 10 stories, each one more devastating than the last. I'll warn you right now, number one is a story so big, so recent, and so painful that some of you already know it. But I promise you, by the time we get there, you'll feel it all over again. Because I'm going to show you the human beings behind the headlines. I've ranked these stories not just by fame, but by the depth of what was lost and the weight of how it happened. These are verified. These are real. Stay with me. Let's start at 10 and work our way down. Number 10. Ekaterina Alexandrovskaya, age 20. 2020. She was born on January 1st, 2000, the very first day of the millennium. And somehow, it felt right. Like the new century had delivered its own gift to figure skating. Her name was Ekaterina Alexandrovskaya, Katya, born in Moscow, but she would skate for Australia, and she would make that country's skating history before most kids her age had even finished high school. At 17, she and her partner, Harley Windsor, became Australia's first ever World Junior Figure Skating Champions, Australia, a country not exactly known for ice sports. And these two teenagers from opposite ends of the world did something no Australian pair had ever done. Then came the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. She was 18 on the world's biggest stage, representing a country she'd adopted as her own. And then, quietly, invisibly, things started to come apart. Injuries, health struggles, depression. In early 2020, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. Shortly after, she and Harley ended their partnership. The skating was over at 20 years old. On July 18, 2020, Katya died in Moscow. Russian news agency TASS reported the cause as apparent suicide. Her coach said she had been carrying so much: the epilepsy, the end of her career, the isolation of a world locked down by a pandemic. Harley Windsor, the partner who had stood across from her at the top of a world championship podium, wrote, "Words cannot describe how I feel right now. I am devastated and sick to my core." Australia's first figure skating world champion was gone. She was 20 years old. Sometimes the ice is the only place a person feels safe, and when the ice is taken away, the world can feel very, very cold. Number 9. Brielle, Corey, and Edward. Ages 12, 16, January 29th, 2025. I need you to pay attention for this one, because this one is recent, and because this one involves children. January 29th, 2025. American Airlines Flight 5342 is making its final approach into Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. On board, dozens of figure skaters, coaches, and family members returning from the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Wichita, Kansas. A U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter collided with the plane over the Potomac River. All 67 people on board were killed. Deadliest U.S. plane crash in over 2 decades. 3 of them were children from Virginia. Corey Hanos was 16. On the very last day of training camp, he finally cleanly landed a triple axel, the hardest jump in men's figure skating. He'd been chasing that moment for months. His coaches saw it. His teammates saw it. He finally had it. Then he got on a plane home. Edward Joe was also 16. His coach, Kala Strid, said, "I sometimes had to remind him to practice instead of talk to everybody. He just wanted to connect with everyone." He was the kid who made the room warmer, just by being in it. And Brielle Bayer was 12 years old. 12. Her family described her as full of light, full of laughter. She was just beginning. U.S. figure skating called all three of them the future of the sport. Possible 2030 Olympians, maybe beyond. 3 kids, 3 futures, 1 night. We're going to come back to this crash, because we're not done with it yet. Number 8, Olivia Eve Terror and her mother. Age 12, January 29th, 2025. Same flight, same night, but this story has a detail that makes it uniquely unbearable. Olivia Eve Terror was 12 years old. She trained at the Ion Figure Skating Club in Virginia. She was the kind of skater who came home from practice barely able to contain herself, eyes wide, voice jumping. "Oh my God, I landed a triple. Oh my God, I did this." Her sister Valerie told NBC Washington, "I always felt so happy that I could share her passion." Olivia's mother, Alicia Taylor, was on that flight with her. Both of them. Gone. Valerie described her mother as someone who always put other people in front of her own needs. A mother who gave everything for her daughter's dream. A daughter who was just starting to see what that dream could become. On a flight home from a skating competition. Number 7, Jenna and Spencer Lane, teenagers. January 29th, 2025. Still on flight 5342, because this story keeps giving, and not in any way we want it to. Spencer Lane was a teenager from the Skating Club of Boston who had started to discover something extraordinary, what it means to connect with an audience, to give something to people, through what you do on the ice. His skating producer, Elin Schran, said that after his first professional show, Spencer came to find her, beaming ear to ear, and said, "I get it now. I understand." He had just figured it out. That was the last big thing he got to figure out. Jenna had a quality that experienced coaches struggled to put into words. One used the word preternatural, meaning she seemed to already know, from birth, something most skaters spend decades trying to learn. CNN sports analyst Christine Brennan said of them both, "These were the kids we expected to bubble to the surface. We would have expected to see them at the 2030 Winter Olympic Games." Oh, would have. Number 6, Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov, in their prime, 2025. Now I want to tell you about the coaches on that flight, because they weren't just any coaches. Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov were 1994 World Pairs champions. They represented Russia at the height of an era when Russian pair skating was untouchable. And they won anyway, with personality, with warmth, with a charisma that made them unforgettable. They got married. They had a son. They moved to Boston and joined the Skating Club of Boston, and they poured themselves into the next generation. Champions who chose to build more champions. On January 29th, 2025, they stayed behind in Wichita for the Youth Development Camp, the Extra Camp, the one where you help the youngest skaters grow. They were there to give more, when they didn't have to be there at all. That decision cost them their lives. Their son, Maxim Naumov, had just finished 4th at the U.S. Championships. He flew home while his parents stayed. He heard the news the next morning. I want you to sit with that for a second. You're a young skater. You just had one of the best competitions of your life. You're flying home, your parents, your coaches. And then in the morning, someone knocks on your door. A year later, almost to the day, Maxim Naumov competed at the 2026 U.S. Championships. He won a bronze medal and a spot on the Olympic team. He skated for them. Every time he takes the ice, he is skating for the people who put him on it. Can you imagine carrying that weight? Can you imagine turning it into something that beautiful? Number 5. the 1961 U.S. figure skating team. February 15th, 1961. We have to go back now, way back, because what happened on February 15th, 1961 is the single most devastating event in the entire history of American figure skating. The entire U.S. figure skating team boarded Sabina Flight 548 in New York, bound for the World Championships in Prague. 18 athletes, 6 coaches, family members, officials, everyone. The plane never arrived. On approach to Brussels Airport in Belgium, it lost control and spiraled into a field. All 72 people on board were killed. Every American skater gone in an instant. Bradley Lord was 21, the reigning U.S. men's champion. Stephanie Westerfeld was 17, already being compared to 3-time Olympic champion Sonia Heaney. Gregory Kelly was 16, the silver medalist. Ice dance champions Diane Sherblum, 18, and Larry Pierce, 24, every single one of them had the podium ahead of them. The 1961 World Championships were canceled. President John F. Kennedy issued a personal condolence. And here's what most people don't know. The U.S. Figure Skating Memorial Fund, established in the days after the crash, has since provided over $20 million to fund the next generation of skaters, including Scott Hamilton, Christy Yamaguchi, and Adam Rippon. The skaters who died in 1961, through their legacy, paid for the champions who came after them. The sport had to be rebuilt from nothing, and it was, because of what they left behind. Number 4. Laurence Owen, age 16, February 15th, 1961. She gets her own entry. She has earned it. This is the girl from my opening, the one on the Sports Illustrated cover, the one who was gone by Wednesday, Laurence Owen. 16 years old, born in Oakland, California, raised in Winchester, Massachusetts. In January 1961, she had just won the U.S. National Championship in the first nationally televised figure skating event in American history. The entire country watched. The entire country knew her name. Monday, she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, America's most exciting girl skater. Wednesday, she was dead. She had placed 6th at the 1960 Olympics in Squaw Valley at just 15. She was on a trajectory toward a medal in 1964. The charisma was there. The talent was there. The timing was there. But here's what makes this story even more unbearable. Laurence wasn't the only Owen on that plane. Her mother, Maribel Vincent Owen, a 9-time U.S. figure skating champion and one of the most respected coaches in the country, was also on board. So was her older sister Maribel, 20 years old, who had her own career ahead of her. 3 generations of skating royalty, a mother and her 2 daughters, on one flight. None of them came home. A magazine cover on Monday, a field in Belgium on Wednesday. I don't know how to make sense of that. I don't think anyone does. Number 3, Denis Ten, age 25. July 19, 2018. Denis Ten was Kazakhstan's golden boy, the country's first ever Olympic figure skating medalist, a bronze at Sochi 2014. In a country that had never stood on an Olympic skating podium, that single achievement meant everything. He wasn't just a champion, he was a symbol. He brought international stars to Kazakhstan for his own ice shows. He earned a red diploma from the Kazakh Academy of Sports. He was pursuing an MBA. He was ambitious, eloquent, and beloved. He was 25 years old. On July 19, 2018, in the city of Almaty, 2 men approached Denis Ten's parked car. They were trying to steal the side view mirrors. The mirrors were worth approximately $68. When Denis confronted them, they stabbed him in the thigh. He lost nearly 3 liters of blood. He was left in the street. A passerby found him. Surgeons fought for hours. He died for $68 worth of car mirrors. American Olympian Adam Rippon wrote, "He was so kind to everyone, murdered in the streets of Kazakhstan. Denis, thank you for showing us how to be a champion. Your time with us was way too short. Love you forever. Both killers were sentenced to 18 years in prison. Kazakhstan mourned, like it had lost a piece of its national identity, because it had. And then, at the 2026 Milan Winter Olympics, Kazakhstani skater Mikhail Shidorov won gold. Kazakhstan's first ever Olympic figure skating champion. His first words after climbing the podium, he dedicated it to Denis Ten. He opened the road for us. Some people change a country, and some countries take years to realize it. Number 2, Sergei Grinkov, age 28, November 20th, 1995. If you've followed figure skating at any point in your life, you know this name. And if you don't, stop everything. Because you're about to understand why the skating world still talks about him 30 years later. Sergei Grinkov and Ekaterina Alexandrovskaya were not just partners on the ice. They were husband and wife. They were the 1988 and 1994 Olympic pairs champions, 4-time world champions, a couple so fluid and so unified in their movement that it didn't look like skating. It looked like something else entirely, something that shouldn't be possible. On November 20th, 1995, they were rehearsing in Lake Placid, New York for the upcoming Stars on Ice tour. A normal training session, nothing unusual. Sergei Grinkov collapsed on the ice. He was 28 years old, a massive heart attack caused by severely blocked coronary arteries, the opening reportedly no larger than a pinhole, a genetic risk factor that no one had detected, no warning signs, no prior symptoms. He was 28, at the absolute peak of his athletic life. Katya was 24. Their daughter, Dasha, was 3 years old. The skating world held a tribute called A Celebration of a Life in February 1996. Katya skated, alone, in front of a sold-out arena that didn't make a sound. She later wrote a memoir, My Sergei, a Love Story. It became a bestseller and a television movie. The genetic condition that killed him is now known as the Grinkov risk factor. His death, as devastating as it was, led to medical research that has since saved other lives. His death made other people's lives possible. 2 Olympic gold medals, a family, a career at its absolute height, gone at 28, and still, somehow, still giving. Number 1, the 2025 D.C. crash. All 28 members of the figure skating community. January 29th, 2025. I know what you're already thinking. You already talked about this crash. Why is it number 1? Because I've only shown you fragments. I've shown you individual faces, individual names, but I haven't shown you the full scope of what this night cost the world of figure skating. And until you see all of it together, you won't understand why this sits at number 1. 28 members of the figure skating community in one night. World champions turned coaches, teenagers on the verge of their Olympic debut, parents who had rearranged their entire lives around a child's dream, a 12-year-old girl and her mother, who just wanted to fly home. And here's the detail that wrecks me every time I think about it. Many of them had just had the best week of their skating lives. The Skating Club of Boston sent 18 skaters to nationals, the most they'd ever sent in 1 year. There was a send-off dinner before the trip. There was joy in that room, real, genuine joy. These kids had worked and sacrificed and earned this week. Corey Hanos had landed his triple axel on the last day of camp. Spencer Lane had figured out what it meant to connect with an audience. Jenna had made experienced coaches stop and stare. World champions Shishkova and Naumov had chosen to stay an extra day to give more. And then on the flight home, on what should have been a quiet, celebratory ride back to their families, an Army Black Hawk helicopter collided with American Airlines Flight 5342 over the Potomac River. The U.S. government later admitted in court documents that an air traffic controller violated visual separation procedures that night. 67 people were killed. The deadliest U.S. plane crash in more than 20 years. In March 2025, the figure skating community gathered for Legacy on Ice, a benefit concert that raised $1.2 million for first responders and victims' families. Olympians past and present performed. Maxim Naumov, who had lost both his parents, his coaches, his teammates, laced up his skates and took the ice. And in January 2026 at the U.S. Championships, Maxim Naumov won a bronze medal and a spot on the Olympic team. He didn't quit. He didn't disappear. He skated for all of them. He got on the ice and he skated for every single one of them. 28 people lost in a single night in 2025. 64 years before that, an entire generation of American figure skating gone in a field outside Brussels. A 25-year-old Olympic champion murdered in the street over $68 worth of car parts. A two-time gold medalist who collapsed at rehearsal at 28 and never got up. A girl on a Sports Illustrated cover on Monday, gone by Wednesday. Figure skating looks like perfection, like control, like something humans have mastered completely. But behind every routine, there is a story. Behind every blade on the ice, a person who chose to give everything they had to something they loved. And sometimes, that story ends before it was supposed to. If this video moved you, subscribe. Every story we tell here is researched, verified, and told with the weight it deserves. And watch this next.